Okay, abuzua makwaba ashonko so ereba Ghana Politics Avenue so abuzua yambonra yensemu Ken Ofori Atta sisi ano ne extradition ho nsensem no akwakoye bibia wo ho but right now no USA authorities FBI for taking quick action on Ken Ofori Atta ne extradition yes yeden ba be pimu ewo Ghana has a sisi ano Ken Ofori Atta ne passport ekura no US no yes CZ HSA ya blockade ne say on to me and cross anybody from USA. Abuzia yensem mo me yanko na yankonko tie ensema ekos. Unsubscribe subscribe like nasa so share ma afofron so ensa into me and kabia ha Ghana Politics Avenue. So and don't forget to click on the notification bell send be any update be ever drop biano wonsa ebe to me akabi medamase.
What are the expectations?
The expectations are that they must go for the monies that have been stolen. In fact, the situation was so worse under President Akuffo and that of Bawumia. And I believe that Ghana must take a cue from that. And this takes me to a very sensitive area, Roland, that ever since we launched our new party, that's the United Party, we have seen a couple of individuals who, instead of coming up with any alternatives or why they think that our party will not survive, have resorted to cursing Mr. Alanchebati. They are cursing him openly. He will die, he will do this, he will do that. We don't have any problem because they themselves...
Is that what's happening?
No, there is a guy...
Yeah. No, Roland, Abba. He's telling no, don't say it. No, don't do that.
Oh, let me do it.
The guy is telling you mentioned Dr. Zato.
No, it's okay. Don't, please. Please don't.
No.
Oh, Zato, why do you want to take the time?
I'm not taking your time.
So you are not party.
Dr. Zato, is that what is happening?
No, he said people from the MPP. So that's what I'm asking. And I know that that's why I was asking.
Yeah, so
you are both from the UP tradition.
One chairman.
Anyway, I withdraw, Dr. Zato, I withdraw the name.
One chairman Buga, we have heard your cases on Alanchebati, but I can assure you that you yourself represent case.
Dr. Zato, do you know Chairman Buga?
Chairman Buga himself is a case unto himself. But the truth of the matter is that if Chairman Buga has any case, he must direct that case onto the Akuffo who supervised this thievery, this corruption from 2018 to 2024 that we have experienced close to 81 billion cedis stolen from the public sector without him doing anything. If they have any case, they must stop insulting Mrs. Chamante that she's a Jezebel, she's this, and focus on those. Because
he did that.
Oh, they are doing. In fact, they are insulting everybody. But you see, when they have no answers to what you are doing, they resort to that. But we want to assure them that the UP has come to stay, and we are going to help in getting this country rid of these corrupt people who today, this one, you go to the offices, they are there. This year, they are stealing. It's not going to end. They will continue to steal till we take drastic measures. That is why I agree with the president that he must give the Attorney General, the Auditor General, and the courts the KPIs so that the country can still re-establish its as it were positive mindset towards the judiciary and also our state institutions. And that's the only way we can come out of where we are now.
I have a couple of comments, and this one looks quite interesting. So this one is coming from Michael Asari, who says, the people in office, as at the time, will travel out of the country once they go into opposition. Once they are no longer in power, finding them then becomes extremely difficult. Look at the current case of Ken Ofori Atta. He's dead. Nobody can do anything to him. What the government must do is, before they leave office, their passports must be seized. And then we need to make the government office unattractive so that people will be willing to work. People who will be willing to work there will be more serious. All right. As copied. Okay. And this one is coming from a lawyer. It says, as a defense attorney, I can tell you that prosecution is no child's play. To prove beyond reasonable doubt entails a lot. Take the work of Ora, for instance. There were credible information as well as idle gossip sent to the preparatory team. To build a credible docket, you need weeks and months of investigation. If prosecution were that easy, Dr. Domelevo, as board chair of Yoko, would have pushed Yoko to recover a chunk of loot by now. as far as I'm concerned, we need to support the OSP to deliver on its mandate. Let's stop launching attacks on the OSP. You know where it's coming from. Can I mention your name? Lawyer. Let me know so that I mention your name attached. And then Stephen Penn says, Stephen Penn is texting us from one. I said, today, Dr. Zato is speaking like a patriot, all in his submissions. That is how we should build Ghana together. Kudos to him, Dr. Zato. Every day, when he speaks like a patriot. Oh, what are you insinuating? Okay, so that is, like I said, you sent the comment in support of the Office of the Special Prosecutor and the Special Prosecutor himself, Lawyer Leonard Sedjo, in support of Kisi Ajabin, the message this morning. And we have more comments coming through. Okay, so and then Moses also says that he said, what did I do to Dr. Zato? Yeah. And the BT Sly also says same. All right, I have to know. Anyway, Adam, there are key issues that we need to take. Okay, so we have Adam Sananu, the Citizen Movement for Corruption. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining anti-corruption crusade as well. And then so far, the special courts, is that the way to go?
Absolutely. As some of you may know, over the last at least year, I have been emphasizing the need for special courts. Indeed, with the new hat I wear as chairperson of the AUABC, there are some countries in Africa I visited, especially Kenya, earlier this year, where they have special courts. They have as many as 12 special courts on anti-corruption with a target of discharging cases within 6 months. So these courts meet daily. So the special is not just about the timing where they are meeting daily. It's also about the additional training within the sector and specialization so that the prosecutors, the judges understand the issues. And so you can dispense of cases rapidly. So I'm absolutely delighted at the decision of the president. I'm delighted at his action, the fact that they're going to draw this conclusion, and we are looking forward to its implementation. The other countries, Zambia too has done this in the past. I'm hoping we can learn from their experiences. I think it's a progressive decision that will contribute significantly once executed.
Now, the subjects of the courts also mean that they need to work rapidly. We've had fast-track high courts before, and so we've had some models that have been experimented with so far. If you have to relate that to how effective they have been and what the expectation of how effectively these will be, what will be your conclusions?
Well, the fast-track court, as was designated earlier, we looked at mechanization as a country. So what it was you put in equipment. But the rules of court, the administrative procedures did not change. So the courts were not sitting daily. You know, in our jurisdiction, what happens, you go to court today, they'll tell you, come back next month, if not next 2 months. It is the reason why the duration of our cases, minimum for such cases is 2 years, and at the peak 7 years. So we don't conclude cases before 2 years on average. Minimum 2 years to 7 years. That's a very long period. In that period, most citizens would have given up hope that we are serious about fighting corruption. So there's a distinct difference here. And in recent days, we've been looking at the National Ethics and Anti-Corruption Action Plan, building on NACAP. And one of my key points was to emphasize that many lawyers confuse the issue of fast track with special courts. And so we should not use the term fast track because the mechanization did not appear to have worked effectively. So there's that kind of people are dissatisfied with the idea of fast track and the mechanization. That's not what we are talking about here. We are saying that the rules should change where they sit daily. So yes, mechanize, all right, have all the equipment, but the rules change so they are sitting daily on the same issue. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, within 6 weeks, 6 months, you can clear a case.
I see. All right. So can we win the fight with this?
It will only be one of the strategies in the gamut of strategies. It's not by itself the silver bullet or golden bullet or the panacea. We still need to have the COPO Pass, Conduct of Public Officers Bill. We still need a comprehensive, anti-corruption bill where you have everything in one place, so it's easier to identify what to use at which point. We still need to ring fence some funding for anti-corruption. We are losing $3 to $5 billion. Now, I think that the single most strategic space where if government were to invest today and to make sure that we bring down the billions we are losing, we'll see phenomenal resources available for development, is the sector of anti-corruption. And we ring fence some funding to make sure that we can promote, the recovery of monies, prevention of the losses, plug the holes. So the special court is one of those things that will begin to send a certain message. But a little bit of improving the legal regime, lifestyle audits, illicit enrichment, reverse burden, things that would then make it easier, as well as the sanction regimes. And I would love something that also covers community sentencing. Let's not have to go and spend money on people in prison. Also, even the plea bargaining regime. I think a structured plea bargaining regime so that there's clarity on how we approach it, and it does not look like some people, perhaps the political elite, may benefit from certain plea bargaining situations or out-of-court settlements.
All right. How would you rate the government's fight in relation to Operation Recover or Loot so far? Of course, headed by the AG. And then OSPs on the other hand and all the others.
Probably, I'm one of those who have always refrained from rating because I say, look, the sector, if you've been in, it's much more complicated than you think. But I would say I would give an above average.
Okay. So let me give the parameters then, since you're afraid to give 0 to 10.
Oh, certainly above 5. I would probably say 6.
6. Okay.
I would not get to 7 because I think that they need some time to go to get into the actual prosecution. And we always have that delayed lag in our space. What happens is this. It takes a long time to do the investigation. Make sure you have concrete evidence that you can take to court and have substantive prosecution that can lead to, rulings and sanctions. And so when you have a citizenry that's too eager and giving too much pressure, it's not really a good thing. My position has always been that the rights of people are at stake. Let's take our time. Let's give the AG time. It's in the same vein, the AG should give the OSP time. I have always said that I believe that the SP and the people there are doing the best they can. We've not had a situation where ministers, presidents have been brought before any entity, For the first time in this country that has happened. I think that they are doing quite well. It's the time they need to make sure investigations are done right. So the evidence they are taking to court is substantive, is concrete, is the one that will get you the kind of rulings you want. And so let's not jump the gun. So I think that the AG is doing well. They are committed to doing what they need to do. Once they get into the prosecutions and are delivering, it will help with the indicators so that we are clear. And I also like the fact that the AG has been out there. I like the adoption of the style where as often as possible, you brief the citizenry. Some people say they are talking too much. I don't think so. I think that that's the way to go, to carry everybody along, to make sure the facts are there, to set the precedents that will ensure that those who think they can continue with impunity will change their minds.
All right. So far, you have monitored the back and forth and the public debate on the AG OSP subject matter. What's your own observation so far?
I think it's much ado about nothing. And I think sometimes it's about understanding process and practice. I'll tell you a story. Now, the last time when President Mahama was was president, the previous time, at a point I was so disturbed by corruption, I said I was going to do a vigil against corruption at the Independence Square. And I wrote to the police. I was invited. At that time, the current IGP was the regional commander for Greater Accra. So at the regional police command, I was brought into a room with 7 policemen standing, 1 chair, and I sat. and they queried me about why I wanted to do this vigilance. I was so upset about the levels of corruption and what have you. And they said we had to go and ask permission from BNI. And I said, according to the law, no. This is my rights, our organization's rights, Citizens Movement Against Corruption. We don't need to have to go to BNI. Eventually, the regional commander then, who is now the IGP, asked their PRO to go to BNI and ask whether we had permission, etc. I thought this was just, confusing the issues. When I stepped out, I think a chief inspector, Sid, I remember his name, called me quietly to his office and said, gentlemen, this is a challenge. You are right that this is what the law says. But over the years, remember that the seat of government has been at the castle. The president has always been at the castle. So the Independence Square has always been considered a security zone. And over the years, the BNI have been responsible for guarding that space. So as a matter of tacit agreement between security agencies, we've always understood that if anything should happen in Independence Square, we go and ask the BNI to prevent any theft wars. So the regional commander and the team are not trying to frustrate you. They are just trying to say there are other things you may not know based on practice and process. Why am I saying that? In my understanding of the issue between the AG and the OSP, I think the OSP is just trying to do a very thorough job. I think the situation is that on the 13th of June, when the AG wrote saying nominate people and add the docket, 3 days earlier, they had raided SNL and discovered information that they thought was substantive to even improving the case. So you have a very good case, and you see opportunity to make it an excellent case, plus more charges. And so if I were in leadership, and this is accountable leadership for me, I would say, give me a few more weeks to add that as well, so that by the time we deliver the docket, which is what they did. So I really don't understand the whole baloo about they are taking too long. If Ken Ofori had arrived on the 2nd of June, the 4 cases they were going to interrogate him on, collecting the data on those 4 cases to finish the case would still have taken probably about 2 months. So my analysis tells me that this is much ado about nothing. I'm quite sure that by the end of the week, the OSP is going to provide that docket. At least that's what I understand. I think that all parties should have more understanding of the processes required. And I think it's a good thing when you have leadership that's intent of doing a thorough job, such that when we get to having to do the extradition, all questions are properly dealt with.
Thank you very much. Adam Senano is co-chair, Citizens Movement Against Corruption. And that brings us to a close on that subject of graft, anti-graft, and then going after those who flout regulations, embezzle, especially also all those that we can perhaps tease out of the various audit reports of the Auditor General. And Adam, the subject matter of restoring Ghana's polluted water bodies, etc. What do you make of it?
Roland, the fight against Galamsey and the pollution of our water bodies by Galamsey and other illegal activities is a national security fight. In every jurisdiction, they have one form of security threat or the other against the survival of the state. In our case, corruption is one of the things that threatens the survival of our country. But even more threatening is this issue of Galamsey and the pollution of our water bodies, the pollution of the environment. Roland, I have been watching pictures and videos of water bodies, rivers, located along Galamsey regions or mining areas. And if those pictures and videos, the condition of the water does not scare you, then I don't know what to scare you any longer. Because water is so basic. Water. It's a basic necessity of life. And so to have your water bodies destroyed, polluted by groups of greedy people who are just looking for a means of survival or to satisfy themselves is a national security issue that all of us must join hands to fight against. Roland, what can we do? Government has, over the past few months, shown commitment to the fight against illegal mining, because we agree that today the biggest threat to our survival, the biggest threat to the survival of the environment, the survival of our water bodies is galamsey, illegal mining. We have seen government showing enough commitment. People are being arrested. Mining forest reserves that used to be captured by galamseyers. The 9 areas that were declared as no-go areas, no-go zone for anybody, all those forest reserves have been recaptured or reclaimed by the government. But we still have a challenge with galamsey. How do we deal with the situation? We have tried many things in the past. Community mining. We've spoken about alternative livelihood. I know NGOs and institutions that went to those galamsey areas to provide training, skills training for the young people so that they will divert or they will stop galamsey and all of that. But it's still, something is missing in the fight. It looks like all these things are really not working the way we want it to work. I believe that the solution is what President Mahama has already started implementing. Recently, he met all the CSOs, stakeholders, at the Flagstaff House and engaged them, briefed them. And the honesty of the president must be applauded. He told them the challenges in the fight and also the successes that we've talked so far, and asked for our support, collective support, to restore our water bodies. It will not happen in a day. It will not happen in a month, in a year. But we need to, it can happen. We should be able to reclaim our water bodies and ensure that they become safer for consumption. Roland, I believe the first thing we need to do in this fight against galamsey, one, is to take this issue of responsible community mining more serious. Because the mining is happening in communities. You cannot tell me that in the local communities where the mining is happening, chiefs, community leaders, the police in those districts do not know that people are entering those places with excavators and co. Because here is the case. Look, me, even as a member of parliament, when I'm driving into my constituency from Accra, the number of police checkpoints, the number of times they will stop you and want to even check what is in your car, and you are talking about excavator that is not pinned, that can be hidden in your pocket. So it should be possible that any new excavator entering into any district, with the collaboration of every stakeholder, if they are not collecting bribe on the way. So if I get an excavator being brought by Dr. Zato, I should know that Dr. Zato has license to do responsible mining, and he is headed to this particular community to go and do the mining. That's why DVLA is now registering these excavators to make it easier for tracking and all of that. But how is it possible that despite all these efforts, you still have people engaging in galamsey? Something is missing somewhere.
All right.
What I think we should do, in addition to the community, this thing is what NIMOS is doing currently. Over the past few weeks and months, NIMOS has been extremely effective.
NIMOS has been?
NIMOS, extremely effective, extremely Roland. NIMOS has been extremely effective.
Has it reflected in the
is
water
reflecting.
bodies?
It is you don't see an immediate, because the pollution is such a way that you cannot see an immediate reflection of the work of NIMOS in the water bodies. But the actual result, the ultimate outcome, is what you see in the communities, how NIMOS has successfully reclaimed lands, reclaimed some reserves, and all of that. We need to commend the young people and plead that we must increase budgetary allocation to NIMOS and to the fight against illegal mining.
Right.
So that next year, hopefully, we should have some of the water bodies getting back.
Okay, abuja we ne ensema ekoso e political highway so eye Ken Ofori Atta and it is a kiana ken eye se empanfo e de ne ba be pie mu e wo Ghana ha se ya enye asem keto akra na sisi ano ne passport ho ensem e na ye de abremu a enye izikra be da mase se moche pene kokoti sa ensem we edemai aha Ghana Politics Avenue. So and don't forget to click on the notification bell send be any updates be able drop bi ano onso wonsa ebe to me aka bedawase.